Thank you, Father Michael, for your introduction. Hi, everyone. I'll also kind of talk through my profile a little bit before I dive into this topic. This is a huge topic, and a lot of information I put in is basically related to my experience. So I just want to talk through my experience first. So I wear lots of hats as well. I'm a student affairs professional. I work with in student experience and the student development field. Because I originally from China and speaks Chinese, so I also do a little bit of marketing initiatives for our center and St. Louis University in China, which brought me a lot of knowledge about working with agents, which I'll talk about today. I'm an international worker. I have 11 years working with Jesuit education, which is I worked for Beijing Center for 7 years and worked for St. Louis University for 4 years. I am also an international student. I'm now studying a doctoral program in St. Louis University related to student affairs admin. And my interested research field is Jesuit education international branding, which is also highly connected with today's topic. That's why I approached to Father Michael and asked him how I can share my experience related to this topic. So today, as I mentioned, a lot of information are my own experiences, and also I brought in some data. So with this information, I want to let you know some of the information is quite subjective. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to discuss with you regarding that. I'll share some agent data first, and also talk about industry trend from the agent's perspective, as well as some surveys and concerns. Everything is related to my personal experience, and from that, on top of that, I'll talk about some higher education data, and some of my thoughts and insights regarding the future of this industry. Okay. So first I want to talk about agent. So we talk about agent a lot, but think about what agent is and how agent works. Agent is basically the international study counselors, which are a third-party company help students to do their applications. Traditionally, what they do is students, or they help students to compile their documents, submit applications to the university, handle some university level communications to help students and to assist students who are not very familiar with the American university system. But in recent years, I think agents are started to focus on a lot of different programs and outreach, including background upgrade. This is basically means when agents meet with students and they identify some areas students can improve, they will probably talk with students and help students to improve those areas. So for example, if a student wants to apply for a PhD program, which is a very competitive PhD program, and the agent knows to apply for that program, student must have a publication, have a essay or academic essay published in China or in other journals. Then they will help students to find out some resources to help students to publish. So with this information and the new resources, students may able to match their program better. So this is called program upgrade. Also, they started to do more study abroad planning with students, which means students will go to agent 3 to 5 years in advance to their program starts. Then from there, they will start to discuss how to best student to get a good academic score, like what the school are need to accept the students. So they will kind of started to plan with students several years ago to think about their study abroad plans. They also do a lot of special programs which will help students to enrich their profile and resume. Either they will create events to help students meet some professors and industry professionals to help students connect with them for their recommendation letter, or they can help students to apply for some type of industrial awards to make their resume looks more competitive. Of course, some agents are working with universities to gain some extra scholarship. Right now, there are lots of partnerships between universities and the agents, so some scholarship may be granted to students who apply through certain agents. Scholarship is also a big component when students chose agent companies. Lastly, I think one thing agents are trying to do is to help students and their parents to do a lot of follow-ups. For example, the grade report. As we know, many of the Chinese students are parents sponsored. So their parents are eager to know their students' performance in university. However, with a FOPA, university may not be able to release this information to their parents directly. But with knowing this information, agents are happy to assist their parents approach to the students, provide the FOPA release, so the university can share more information with their parents regarding student performance, which is quite helpful for many parents to know their students' performance in American university. The cost for using an agent company is, it depends. So it's from $1,500 to $7,000 per case. Also, sometimes depends on what university are you going to apply and how much scholarship will you get. So that's case by case, basically. Today, I'm going to share some data from one of the agents called New Oriental. New Oriental is the biggest and earliest agent company in China. And this report is their annual report from 2019 and included 2,912 cases for students applied undergraduate level of study in China. New Oriental is all over the country, based in Beijing. This data, actually, they have a published version online, but what I'm using today is their internal data, which also included some of their organizational change in New Oriental. I just want to give you a quite quick note before I dive into this data, because students will apply to multiple schools, so some of the data may look a little bit weird, but I'll talk through this. So this data I want to share is where are those students from? What type of a high school are these students from? Are the almost 3,000 students from? I think one thing I want to emphasize here is there's 34% climate students are actually from students who completed American high school. This is actually a very, very interesting data, because traditionally we will think American high schools has already provided enough resources for students to apply for undergraduate university, but actually there are a good number, almost like a little bit more than 1/3. There's climates are actually from students in American high schools. Public high schools in China contain 35%, and private high schools contain 30%. But knowing that in China, the private high school, the number of private high school is actually very small, much smaller than public high school. So thinking about the percentage of the students who will study abroad, I think private high school definitely have much more students who would like to study abroad compared to public high school. 56% of the students who graduate from American universities will also use agents to apply to graduate school. This is from a different report, but thinking about the graduate school, there are still good number of students who will use agents to finish their application. So who are our students from this report? 60% of them are male and 50% are female, which means there are more more male students chose New Oriental to finish their application. And there is also showed an average test score, which is 95 for TOEFL, and their GPA is 3.73, which is quite high. I touched about this in last presentation. Also talk about Chinese students actually have very high academic score when they apply for American universities. Okay. What university did they apply in 2019? 97% of students will apply at least one big university. And the number of students who apply for liberal arts college, art school, or community college are actually really small. Ranking and reputation are the most important factors when they choosing schools. The top 3 locations in New Oriental regarding the states is California, New York, and Ohio. 65% of students applied at least one university in California, which also means only 35% students didn't apply any schools in California. That's a very interesting information as well, because we all know California is very attractive for Chinese students, but this data actually means a lot. There are over half of the students will choose a location. This data is probably not very new. Many of you probably have seen this before. According to F1 visa data through CIVIS system, there are the top 10 American universities who accepted Chinese students are listed here, which also included University of Illinois and Urbana-Champaign, Southern California, etc. I'll share this list with you later. You will see a lot of the locations are also in California. Majors, for the major data, I use the Open Doors data. Open Doors is a comprehensive information resource on international students issued by International Institute of Education, Institute of International Education. So they also have annual data about international students from their data issued by in 2018, engineering, math, computer science, business and management, social science and communication are the most popular majors for Chinese students. It changes every year a little bit, but those 5 areas didn't change too much in the past several years. I'll also talk a little bit about the trend related to Chinese student enrollment. Overall, in 2018/19 academic year period, international students contains 5.5% of the total US enrollment in undergraduate level. This is also an Open Doors report, which is quite similar than the past 3 to 5 years. But I want to also share this information with you. About the agent organizational trends. So in 2017 and 2008 and 2019, I went to 5 cities and met hundreds of agents represented St. Louis University to recruit. So through this opportunity, I met a lot of agents. I kind of want to talk. I kind of want to talk about their trends, their organizational trends in this year. In 2017 to 18, students started to apply for multiple countries. Because traditionally, students will only apply for one country when they study abroad. For example, they will only apply university in America or in United Kingdom or in other countries. They will only apply one country. But starting from 2017, students started to show the trends that they will apply for universities in multiple countries. When they started to apply for multiple countries, the main reason is actually because of the visa policy. The students started to talk about, do they feel they can get a visa to come to United States? If they couldn't, what's their are the options to think about? Are the options they probably applied another university in Australia or in UK? So that's kind of the starts of this trend. But I also see organizationally, the agents started to combine their US department with the rest of the world department to make sure students can be presented to a comprehensive list of universities they want to apply. And in 2020, because of COVID-19, many US department in agents, the agents have like US department, American University department staff, their staff started decrease dramatically. And a lot of the staff actually was assigned to UK departments this year to apply for schools in United Kingdom. Also, I want to show you the visa data in the past 9 months. Chinese students in United States decreased 70%. Then in 2019, F1 visa issued to Chinese students decreased 99%. This is the data issued by the government data. Okay, I see a question here. I'll touch about this a little bit later. So I did a survey in 2017 and kind of asking students how they chose universities when they study abroad. One information students told me that here are some conclusions from that survey I want to talk through today, because there are many students I worked with in China applied a university in 2016. That's kind of not new data, but shows some trends. Student values the ranking very much. This is no one can actually ignore this information, but ranking is not everything. They also kind of think through reputation, their alumni, and as well as school locations. One of the very interesting survey I did with Chinese students in 2016 is I realized students connect the city with university's ranking. So they will automatically think a university in New York is better than a university in probably St. Louis, because New York is considered a better city than St. Louis. So they will think New York University is definitely better than St. Louis University. So that's one of the survey data showed. Even though the majority of the students will use agents, they actually don't trust agents. Jean also discussed a little bit about agents' commitment commissions, which means how university, when they create a partnership with agents, they may have some partnership and have some financial resources give to the agents. So students started to know this information and didn't really trust the agents. they value the professor's opinion very much. So students, if there is a professor in students' university, kind of talks to, okay, this university is really good. I've been to that university, things like that. Student would really value that information. For example, when I applied universities, three of my professors are from University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. So I also applied that university only because my professor recommended me to apply for that school. They are the alumni of U of I. So that's kind of a good connection for students to have. Programs with internship and on-campus employment are very, very attractive. So this year, St. Louis University started to create those programs kind of connect with internship or on-campus employment for our students, because the education is actually is unknown for many students. Good question. Many students are asking us is how was my career look like, and what type of internship or job opportunity can I get through the study abroad experience. So we kind of pull out all the resources to students into their program and let students know if you're admitted into this program, you will automatically get an internship opportunity from the same school. This is really, this is very, very attractive for Chinese students and also for other international students as well. Lastly, I'll talk a little bit about concerns. Overall, I think Chinese higher education students will increase in the next 3 to 5 years, which I discussed in our last workshop, that the number of Chinese students who will go to university for undergraduate and graduate degrees, the number, the population will increase. But the students who will come to United States may decrease again in 2021 spring, because what's going on now and the recruitment data shows that the number will decrease, as well as thinking about the visa data, 99% decrease this year impact a lot of Chinese students coming to United States. Another data I see from a report is the 12 to 18 years old student population decreased dramatically in United States. A lot of students in the secondary school actually this year transferred to other countries because of COVID and other political issue. I think this data is very interesting because traditionally, if students finish secondary school in United States, they will more likely to apply for university in United States. If we already lost a lot of students in secondary school, which means we lost a good number of students potential students who will apply for undergraduate programs in the next 3 to 5 years. So that's a very important data as well. In China, because of COVID, as Jing touched this a lot, many American universities started to have China campus to help their students to have a transition program during the COVID. There are many forms of a China campus. For example, Duke University has their own university own campus in China. American University have their own program partnered with Chinese campus, with one of the Chinese university, which is, I think, is probably the most popular way for American universities to establish this type of partnership. Also, there are some partner programs, including if that's an undergraduate, 1 year in China, 3 years in United States. So I call 1+3 or 2+2 programs are very popular. In terms of a graduate program, usually it's a 1+1 or 1+2 format to establish this type of partnership program. That's quite popular in China now. And I've seen this year with students I worked with, I have a good number of students transferred out from our university and joined schools who has partners in China because they want to take in-person classes. With the online degree became very popular, since I know students didn't do very well. Many students said they didn't do very well. They have online fatigue, but also bring me to think about because the online degree is much cheaper than a traditional degree. While this became a new trend for Chinese students to complete their degree in American university, I'm thinking about this. I think that will be a possibility because thinking of how cheap it is compared to study abroad in-person program. In St. Louis, we also have a full online program for undergraduate and graduate students. They're also thinking about how using this opportunity to attract more international students. Lastly, I just want to talk through a little bit about my thoughts and insights related to this topic. I think as an international educator, I'm thinking about there are several factors will highly impact our enrollment in next several years, and these things should be well aware by other educators. The first thing I listed here is a stable visa policy. I think this is a really, really important key factor for Chinese students chose to study abroad in states. If students have the fear that they will not get visa or they will lose their visa in United States, they will not apply for university they will not apply for university in the United States at all at the very beginning, because they have a lot of options when they started their application. When I'm thinking about visa policy, I'm not only thinking about student visa, but also thinking about OPT, CPT, which is job opportunities for students to gain in United States, and H-1B, which is a work authorization they can get to have more work experience in United States. If these visa policies will change always or will have that type of a potential to change, that will hurt our student population, that will hurt our students, that will hurt our potential students as well. Also, my research area is related to international branding. I think Jesuit education has a really good branding in United States. Many domestic students, when they apply for Jesuit education, they know what they're applying for. But currently, the Jesuit universities only using their rankings to attract students. So if you take a look at the international student populations in Jesuit universities, you will notice like some good ranking Jesuit universities will have a lot more international applicators. But I think Jesuit education is providing such a comprehensive experience. So how we should advocate ourselves and market in Chinese markets, so Chinese student will realize this is not just about ranking, this is about a whole study experience in the Jesuit umbrella. I think that's a really, really important information for AJCU to think through. I mean, for all the Jesuit students, for all the Jesuit university to think through how we can work together to branding ourselves as a whole in Chinese market. I think that's really, really important for all of Jesuit universities. Jing also talked a lot about Chinese social media. If you don't know this information, most of the social medias in United States doesn't work in China. Facebook, Instagram doesn't work at all in China. You must use Chinese social media to deliver a marketing material, and also kind of form this type of partnership with Chinese universities are also really, really important. As I touched before, student trust, even though students using agents, they trust their professors and the university connections much more than agents. How you value this information is also kind of a question I want to put here for you to think through. Lastly, I think as a educator, I always advocate for our Chinese students, and I would suggest you to do so as well for your campus, for your Chinese students, because this is such a underrepresented population in American university, but they actually contribute to our campus a lot in many ways. Financially, they contribute to our campus diversity in many, many ways. They should be valued more, and we should advocate for them a little bit more. So that's all for my presentation. I'll